Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm also very well. We'll quickly start the session.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to
Welcome.
have you. We're all
Welcome.
very
Welcome.
excited for this.
Thank you
I'll
so
just
much. I
start with
am equally excited. Thank you so much for having me for this live. It's amazing.
pleasure is all ours. I'll just give a brief introduction to who you are for those who don't know already.
Sure.
Iffat Khan is the founder of Philanthropist, Breakfree business coach, TED speaker, author, and a global influencer. She is the host of the most loved YouTube show for entrepreneurs, Breakfree Millions with Iffat Khan. She has impacted and changed lives of thousands of people across the globe using proven tools and strategies while helping them break free of their limiting beliefs so that they can transform their business and life to the next level. She is on a mission to impact a million people break free of their limiting beliefs and live an extraordinary life through her brand Breakfree Millions. We are here with you today, ma'am. Is there anything that you would like to add to the introduction? If you want to say something about you, and especially about your journey and what it has been like to be a woman entrepreneur.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much. And I'm really humbled to have joined you guys here. And thank you so much for the introduction as well. Well, yes, being an entrepreneur, being a woman entrepreneur, especially in this country, has been challenging for me. But for me, it hasn't been like this all the time. So I'm going to tell you to begin with, I never ever thought that I'll be an influencer or an entrepreneur. I'll be working with so many people across the globe. It never ever was there. But all I wanted to do was just do good for the people. So to begin with, how my journey begins is that I failed actually my school, and yeah, I failed my school, and I was thought of a failure. I was thought of to be quite meek and quite weak because I was a girl. I was quite tiny, and doing that when I was growing up, I remember that's exactly what people thought of me to be like. So my programming was exactly the same. I never thought I'd be able to do anything. So I just took up to doing what everybody else did. So I got a graduation degree and I decided I'm never going to fail because I hated that because once I had failed, so I never wanted to do that again. And then I took up to doing a job because that's what exactly everybody did. And after which, yeah, like life just happened. 8 years into corporate, and then to today, doing what I do has been a magical journey. And I'll tell you, there's been one element to it. The flip side of this, for me being, I failed my first business when I started out. I failed my school. I failed countless interviews. I was thought to be underconfident. I was underconfident. I was shy. I was meek, and you'd name it. Okay, I went through this entire journey. However, the flip side of it today, what I do is I'm an author, like you said, I'm a TED speaker, I'm an international speaker. I've been featured on different media platforms, India Today, Daily Pioneer, to name a few. Yep, I run my show, which is Breakfree Millions with Iffat Khan, and I've got the honor and privilege to work with the most amazing and successful people. To name a few, Dr. John DeMartini, if you know, he's been here like for the past 40 years. He's written 50 books. Jarek Robbins, if you guys know Tony Robbins, his son Naveen Jain, he's a billionaire, and so on and so forth. So it's been an amazing, amazing journey, and yeah, that's about it. That's what I do today. I work with people. I especially love working with women, young girls, and a lot of them join my courses and programs online.
And impacting lives, impacting a million lives.
Absolutely,
Thank you so much.
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
We just start with the entire pandemic and how it has hit businesses. We all know the economy has really gone down and everything. How do you think that the lockdown has impacted businesses, especially which are led by women?
I remember reading this. Thank you so much. Well, just tell me your name. I'm not aware about it.
Diksha, Diksha. My name is
Diksha.
Diksha.
Diksha. Thank you so much, Diksha, for asking that question. So I remember reading this article upon Economic Times. I'm going to share a couple of personal stories which I have seen women going through because of this pandemic, COVID-19 happening. So Economic Times says that maximum businesses have been impacted. Mostly traditional businesses have been impacted. However, micro, small, and medium enterprises have been impacted immensely. And that being said, businesses, especially with women and young entrepreneurs, have been impacted hugely. And so I remember one of my participants who I coach. She was running a cafe, and while doing, because it's a traditional business, and so she ends up telling me like how exactly this has impacted her life, and she's a single mother and she takes care of her kids, and it's really, really hard. So for sure there has been an impact, and it's massive, not just for women entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, but
Shift to online business can be difficult for a lot of women, considering the inaccessibility and how there are so many challenges in handling infrastructure online and all of those things. So how do you think is the shift to online businesses difficult, and all about what you think about this?
Right. So what I would say, actually, to be very honest, it's a blessing in disguise. Because you know what, the entire country, especially in India, we are like about like 7 billion. The entire world is 7 billion plus. It's going to be 8 billion. In India itself, we've crossed over a billion plus. So the thing is, the population of India, millions of them, I would say probably half a billion of us are going to be online. They'll all be online, be it in the rural India, be it in the urban India, anywhere you talk about. So, the fun part about this is that everybody is going to go online now. If you like it, you don't like it, whether you're technology friendly, whether you don't like technology, you have to be online. And it's actually a boon. It's a blessing in disguise. There's accessibility. There's, you can reach wider number of people. As you know, social media is doing like it's like everywhere. You see about over 4 billion. That's the population that you currently have on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you name them. So, there's so many people out there. And imagine if you're taking your business online, what exactly it does. It actually reaches to so many more people. So isn't that amazing? I feel it's actually a blessing, and it will not be challenging if you have the correct support with you. You need support. That is very important, especially for women entrepreneurs. You need support, and you will need support of people who are ready and who are out there to help you, be it with technology, be it with any aspect of your business. So the moment that is done, it's actually sorted. It's taken care. You'll get a wider reach. It's technology friendly, accessibility. It's easy and it's cheaper. Your startup cost compared to a technical, a traditional business that you do on an online business, it's actually comparatively, it's very less. So more business opportunities, and more young girls may be doing a lot more businesses.
You know how there is always this thing that you can see a problem as either a challenge or a hurdle, and the challenge, how do you tackle it? So I think you beautifully explained how this challenge is actually going to be fruitful for a lot of people in so many ways.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for such a positive perspective on that.
You're welcome.
Since the lockdown, especially when we're considering women businesses, there has been a lot of increase in domestic workload on women. So how can that problem be tackled, and how to manage time between the household chores and how to promote online businesses and how to keep up with that kind of work? So
brilliant. I love this question, and I always ask, why don't people ask this often? Why don't people ask this often? Why is there, let me ask you this, why is there a disparity between workload, like when you're working at home or housework for that matter? Why is there a disparity between men and women? Even though, despite the fact that women are also going to jobs, they are working, they are running businesses, right? And so are men. This is something to ask. Like, this has been there. I'm going to give you an example, all right? So studies have showed that women have always been given a choice. Now, they either have to compromise on their professional life or they compromise on their personal life. Because trust me when I say it, I've worked with so many women entrepreneurs. I know what they come up to me and they tell me, like, they do not get time. I mean, they're so busy taking care of the children. They're so busy taking care of the household. I mean, you got 24 hours, but 10 hours just goes by when you want to get some rest or maybe do your regular chores. And you're left with about just 10 hours. And what do? Do you want to go do your job? Do you want to take care of the family? So it is challenging for sure. So the study shows that women, are actually, they work twice the work that men do, the household chores, and despite having a kid and a job or a business. So why is there a disparity in the first place? So these rules have been set by us. I wouldn't blame anyone else. There has been this, this entire, I don't know, there's been rules which has been created. Society's been telling you to do something. Girls should behave some way, men should be some way, boys should behave I mean, this is created by us. So now it's time that we break them. I mean, you got to make the rules. You got to tell not just the men, but the women, everybody in your family to divide the workload. I mean, take up the work, distribute it, divide it among each one of you, because you are contributing equally. That's exactly how the problem can be solved. So you got to take that stand, and you got to be able to tell maybe your partner, maybe your siblings, maybe your family, your parents, everybody, like, look, I got to do this. This is my priority. I got to spend some time here. So I will need help. And most often, what we do is, as women, we feel this is our responsibility to go ahead and do this towards our family. This is a responsibility to go ahead and do it for our children. This is a responsibility to go ahead and do it for our parents. But is that actually true? No, we've made those, right? So the most important thing is that we got to break that rule, and we've got to be open, and we should go about asking for help from our people, from our family. And I'm quite sure they're going to understand if we go about doing it.
Absolutely. About how you just mentioned about so many gender norms, gender roles, and, biases, and all of these things that patriarchy has gifted to us.
Yeah.
Do you think there are also, women are also socialized into thinking that they cannot be successful entrepreneurs? Given all these biases and roles which have been posed on women, do you think this also comes as a gift to us?
Absolutely. That's the biggest gift that's been gifted to us for centuries, I would say. Not just, decades. It's been there for centuries. And yet again, we are to be blamed about that. I'm going to tell you this. Now, when you talk about programming, I remember an incident, one of my participants joining in. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me well?
Yes, ma'am, I can do it.
All right, amazing. So I remember one of my participants. She's a young girl. She's joining in my program, and I asked her, "What is your dream?" And she's doing her college, like I think so, her bachelor's. So and I asked her, "What exactly do you want to do?" So she said, "My dream is to actually make my dad happy, and I want to take up a job. I'm an engineering student, and I want to do really well in my engineering examinations and get a job." And I asked her, "What exactly does your dad do?" And she said that my dad is into a business. I said, "Well, that is amazing. Don't you ever think? Have you never thought, to join your dad or to become an entrepreneur?" And she literally smiles. Disha, right? Her smile goes like from here to there. She's like smiling, and she's like, "Yes, but I haven't thought about it." When she actually told me about she wanted to do a job, she wanted to get a job, she was like, "I just want to do this for my dad. I want him to be proud. So I wanted to get a job." But when she actually said that I want to join my dad, and I can also become an entrepreneur, she was so happy. And that instantly told me that, what, her heart really lies in something, in doing a business, probably joining a dad, and not exactly taking up a job. So this is where the gap is, where most of us, the young generation, people who are like, especially teenagers, young girls in their 20s, they don't understand this. And this gives me the responsibility to actually go ahead and show them the way. And it's amazing. So yes, it does come, your question, there's a lot of pressure, especially, and I'm going to give you another example. So my brother, right, he's heavy into fitness, so he loves fitness. He knows it's his right to go ahead, get his gym, take care of his physique, get the right supplements, get the right food, and he gets everything. He knows his plan. He knows this is what he wants to do. He wants to start a business. All of it is already planned. On the contrary, when you talk about my sister, she's such a giver. She's such a big contributor. She would like to take care of people. She would like to give. She would like to do things for others, not really thinking about herself. So it's amazing, even young boys, when you ask them that, do you think you can do something like this, anything which is impossible, they would be like, oh, yes, why? Why? Because I'm a man. I can do it. When you ask a woman, she's like, no, it'll hurt me. So that's the programming that's actually been done to all of us for centuries together. Now, how do we go about breaking that? That is more important. That is definitely there, and studies have shown that women have been dealing, and they are not, they hesitate to ask. They doubt themselves. They lack self-belief. They're not the ones who would actually drive to success. Studies have shown that women no pressure put onto women for success, to achieving success. On the contrary, on men, on boys, there is a pressure that they know they have to grow up, they have to become successful, they have to make the money. But on women, it is not. Like, okay, fine, you do what you really have to. And that's why we take a chill pill.
Probably. That is very interesting way to look at it. That, we haven't really been conditioned to also think that, oh, you have to be successful. And, oh, yes, absolutely. Do you think we can, how can we train women, young women and girls to engage and take interest in entrepreneurship and starting their own businesses and all of those things?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. A brilliant question. First and foremost, when you're a teenager, young girls, everything starts from the grassroots level, Disha. Now, I cannot emphasize the fact about the effect, the effect that you have, your environment plays on you, your peers, play on you, your friends, your people, the people that you interact with, especially when you're a teenager, especially when you're at the age of 13, 14 and growing, 19, and then again, even in your 20s, it's so important. In fact, this is the most important, crucial part for you to achieve where you really want to go, and to be able to be successful, you really need to hang out with great people. And the first and the most important thing is hang out with amazing people. When you are young, when you're in your teenage, when you're in your 20s, find people who you can look up to. Find people who are entrepreneurs, maybe in your family. Learn from them. That being said, your environment, find a mentor, find a coach who you can look up to, stick with them and learn from them. I'm going to give you an interesting fact, all right? A young girl, by the time she is 19, she goes through on an average at least 2 to 3 breakups, like heartbreaks. Now, right? That's what studies show. So she's going through stress, she's going through heartbreak, she's going through a lot of challenges emotionally, right? Which is not good for her. And she's failing in an area where she feels that she is just not good enough. That decreases her morale, that decreases her self-worth. On the contrary, what if, let me ask each one of you watching us here, what if on the contrary, she started a business and she failed, and she started 2 businesses and she failed again? So is a heartbreak better or business failure better? I mean, both are failures. You will go through them. You will go through them. But the reason why this happens is because we have been programmed. Look, you're going to grow up, you will get married, you need to get married to a really nice guy who's doing well, so you need to be educated, you need to go to somebody's house, and you're going to be a very good girl, a very good woman, a wife and a mother. So the programming is that I need to find somebody who I can live the rest of my life with. right? So if on the contrary, if we flip that, and if we flip it and we make it like, look, you can go ahead, start your business. I'm going to support you. You do whatever you like to. Your programming is done how? Is because you know what? I can use my skills. I can use my creativity. I can use my energy to put into something which is going to help me to become successful women, which will help me in my business. So just a little gap. And if we go ahead and tweak that, that's going to make a huge change. So firstly, find a mentor. Secondly, parents, make sure you let your child or your girl child especially do what she really, really dreams to, what she really wants to. Instead of feeding that into her that she's going to grow up, she'll get married, she has to take care of kids and all of that. She just has to understand that she has the right to live her dreams and be able to build businesses if that's what she really wants to. Yeah. And thirdly, schools, very, very important, extremely important. At school, we must have something to do with business. So what exactly is happening nowadays is that we're getting a degree to get a white collar job, to just get a job, but that's about it. A degree will never prepare you to do business. Why? Because a degree will prepare you to do a job which is safe, secure, and comfortable. When I've met so many entrepreneurs, they've come on my show, I've interviewed them, and one thing I remember, Aniket Jain from Kalera, and he spoke about this to me. And I said, he's taken his company to the IPO level. Okay, it's a public limited company now, listed in New York Stock Exchange. And he told me one simple thing. Look, when I was very young, I saw my friends, sitting at home, playing with friends. And what I used to do, I used to go to my uncle's shop or my dad's shop, and I used to sit there and I used to sell stuff. And he's actually learned that from his grandfather as well. So from his early age, when he was very young, the programming has been done so right that he had no other option. But you know what? It's become a habit. Like, why not business for young girls or for young kids? However, why can't business become just another thing where where you just go ahead, you breathe, it's like a habit. Like, you brush your teeth, you bathe, you sleep, you eat, you do everything. That's a habit that's been instilled in you. So why not business? Makes
Absolutely. Getting mentorship at the right age, I think, is something that has really stayed with me. Like, when you said that when you engage in things from the initial times, I remember attending this workshop where someone said that, be involved in your finances from an early age. Don't just let your parents handle it or let the men handle it. Always be engaged in the finances, and that's like a very important thing to do.
Very, very important, especially for girls. Very important. Great.
Yeah. I think mostly we've covered this part, but do you think there are any more obstacles than the ones that you've already mentioned that female entrepreneurs face as compared to the male entrepreneurs?
Yeah, absolutely there are. So I'm going to share the statistics. I did, when I started out Femipreneur, so there were a lot of challenges which I personally faced as a women entrepreneur, but I wanted to do so much for women entrepreneurs because I saw them going through that. Somehow I could figure it out, but they could not. So my heart really went in for them, and I was like, I got to do something. And, when I did a lot of research, I didn't find many, networks or forums or incubators such for women to help them and give the accessibility. So I did this research, and I figured out when I was doing for Femipreneurs, there are a lot of challenges. Most important one being support. So everybody watching today, for women, there is a huge, huge lack of support. Huge lack of support. It's not just from the programming, not just because of the social conditioning, not just because of the pressure, the environment, but also there is no support. Now, I remember one of this female coming, she's an amazing, amazing, talented woman. And she tells me that if I really want to do this business, but my husband isn't supporting me and my family isn't supporting me. So then what do I end up doing? My interest isn't really there because there's so much other stuff that I need to do that I can't focus my time and my energy into business. Okay, so support is very, very important, and that's a huge challenge that women face. Apart from support, there's lack of resources. I mean, there are a lot of policies. We're going to discuss about that later on how we can women can benefit. But apart from lack of support, they also feel what I've done the research, and they say that I don't think I'm skilled enough. And it was constant, like, I don't think I'm skilled enough, I don't think I have the right resources, I don't think so I have the right kind of skills. And they kept on saying that, and that was again the highest one, where people, where women thought that they don't have enough skills, then they don't have the right people to go ahead and work and build their businesses. And apart from that, resources, and they always thought, a business would require so much of resources, so much of money, and I don't think so I'd be able to go ahead and arrange that, or anybody's going to support me. So these are major challenges. But I'm going to tell you the biggest one. The biggest one is that they feel that, that they are not worthy enough. First one, they don't have self-belief, absolutely no confidence. It's funny. I'll tell you why. It again, I would say, okay, fine, your family, everybody, it's fine. But then end of the day, it's upon you. I'm going to give you my example. So when I was growing up, and, when people came up to me and they told me that, if I, look, it's business is not for women. It's you can hear me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a little faint.
I can't hear you. I lost your voice.
Can you hear me now? Is this any better?
I can't hear you.
You cannot hear me? Hi everybody. There's so many of them on the chat. Thank you so much for joining in. Can you hear me now, Disha?
I absolutely cannot hear you. I can just see your lips moving.
Oh, you can't hear me? Okay. So what do you suggest we do?
Has it been muted or something?
No.
Should I start it again? Let me start it once again.
Okay.
Give me a second. I'll start it once.
Sure. We can hear you is what we received comments saying, I think the Shivali